Ready to go. Good morning, everybody. My name is Gene Coltas, presiding member for the Regional Development Assessment Panel meeting today. I declare the meeting opened at 9:32 a.m. In doing so, I acknowledge we are hosting this meeting on the traditional land of the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation and are joined by people from other lands around the state. We acknowledge the Aboriginal people as traditional custodians of Western Australia, pay respect to elders past and present, and the ongoing connection between people, land, waters and community. This meeting will be run in accordance with RDAP Standing Orders 2024 under the Planning and Development Act, Development Assessment Panel Regulation 2011. The meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the RDAP website in accordance with Regulation 42A of the Planning and Development Assessment Panel Regulation 2011, and members are invited to, or reminded to, announce their name and title prior to speaking. Panel members may refer to technical devices throughout the meeting to assist them in considering the information before them. Members present today, apart from myself as presiding member, I have Councillor Natasha Colliver from the City of...
Gene, looks like the city's just dropped off, so I'm just going to try to get them back before you do the declaration of due consideration.
Okay.
I don't have the councillor either.
So who's dropped off?
The city.
The city has dropped off. Okay, well, for those that are watching still, we have Councillor Natasha Colliver from the City of Greater Geraldton, Karen Hyde to my left as Deputy Presiding Member, and Heidi Hergert as Specialist Member. We have apologies today from Mayor Jerry Clune, City of Geraldton, Simon Keeming and Councillor Michael Labrizzi. We have no members on leave of absence, and noting of minutes of previous meetings, they're available on the RDAP website. We now get back to...
Just trying to get in touch with them.
We have got a technical issue here with the City of Greater Geraldton, who has dropped off the live stream. So we'll pause. Just can't move anything because this...
I've got three of us. We do have a call.
Yeah, the council. Let's try this.
Just give them another just because I think they're trying to look back.
Shall we adjourn the meeting in the meantime? Yeah. Okay, sorry viewers. We'll just wait. I seem to be doing a lot of fiddling around before the meeting.
Yes, they did have
Okay. Well, we're back on board again. Can we hear Council?
Russ.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay. I've introduced everybody, and part one of the item one on part B of the agenda is a declaration of due consideration. And I'll ask all panel members to advise that they've duly considered all of the documentation contained within part B of the agenda and part B related information by raising your hand, please. Thank you very much. Was this item considered at a council meeting at all?
No, it was not.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, moving on to item 3, the DAP application before us for service station and pylon signs in Spalding. We do have a presenter, Mr. Josh Watson from Planning Solutions. So, Watson, would you like to speak to the presentation, please?
Thank you, presiding member, and good morning, panel members and local government officers. I'm Josh Watson from Planning Solutions, and I'll be speaking to support service station at 216 Flores Road in Spalding, Geraldton. I'm also joined by Mohammed Razuli from Trexel, who's on the call on Zoom today, who can answer any traffic-related questions as well. Nathan Mast from our office does send his apologies and he's actually sent a letter this morning. We're pleased to see the development is recommended for approval for that. We've worked through the development diligently with the city. This is clearly reflected in the positive recommendation to the panel today. I'd like to thank the planning team for their assessment and recommendation. We've also reviewed the proposed conditions from the city's officers, and we are fully supportive of these. We do not request any changes. Consider them to be standard in order to implement a development of this nature. As outlined in the RDAP, the proposal seeks to develop a 7-Eleven service station on the site. The site's location on the northern edge of Geraldton, adjacent to the northwest coastal highway, will mean this development will provide an important refuelling facility for the travelling public as well as the local population. This facility will provide suitable caravan and trailer parking, rest area with the retention of trees, convenience retailing and fuel infrastructure, which will be an important for the continued growth of the Geraldton area. This will be the second 7-Eleven built in the region and signal their growth outside of the metropolitan region as well as the southwest region. There's also been necessary assessments, including the significant traffic analysis, which confirms the development suitability for the subject site for now and into the future. All in all, we're supportive of the officer recommendation, and we thank them for their assessment and working with us over the last couple of months, going into last year. All in all, we request the panel support the recommendation today as proposed by the officers, and I'll be happy to answer any questions alongside Mohammed.
Thank you, Mr. Watson. Panel members, any of you have any questions of Mr. Watson?
I have a question of the traffic.
Okay.
I have a question of Mr.
Go
Watson.
ahead, yes.
Thank you for the presentation. Obviously, all your attached plans include signage, and yet we have an advice note from Main Roads that says signage on the lot requires an advertising application to be completed and approved, and that approval is not part of this approval. Are you clear what is required of you in terms of that advice note, and how do you see that working with the recommendation for approval of the development plans, which include the signage by the city?
Yeah, we're very clear, and Main Roads have their separate legislation, the different requirements, which are separate to the planning requirements. Often Main Roads had a significant concern with sight lines and the like for signage that would be voiced during the planning process. So largely it is procedural, and we feel comfortable.
Okay, thank you. One other question, please. The landscape plan is somewhat conceptual, and you might recall previously The panel thought it useful to require a little bit more detail on that. Would you have any objection if that was to be the case this time and conditions were augmented to request further detail?
No objection if it's just amount of detail that generally supports that in relation to reticulation and species and amounts, and that's we don't have any objection to that. Ultimately, it needs to be done.
All right, thank you. Those were all my questions.
Thank you. Any other questions of Mr. Watson? No. If not, thank you. Oh, sorry. It's just council, I think.
No, it was to the traffic.
Oh, traffic engineer, go ahead. Yes.
Okay. I think that's Benham. I don't think it's 100%.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I just had a question about service vehicles. I know there were two different consultants that were in the end appointed to look at this, the original consultant and then the follow-up to do the tech note. That mainly addressed the condition one that Main Roads put in their advice. The question isn't relating to that. It was just more about the service vehicles, the size of the fuel tanker. Can somebody confirm the maximum size of the fuel tanker that's going to be entering the site? Is it a B double? Is it just a conventional size fuel tanker?
He's muted.
I think I was on mute. This is Mohammed Rasuli from Transcorp, speaking on behalf of the applicant. Yeah, originally the Alpuri consultant did the traffic impact assessment for the subject side, and Transcorp did a peer review of the traffic impact assessment and produced the technical note to support the development application. In terms of the service vehicle, my understanding is that the normal 90-meter fuel tanker would service the site, and 10-pass analysis has been undertaken by Alpuri consultant, which is reported in the TIA, shows satisfactory entry and exit and maneuver inside the service station.
So your review has actually confirmed the results of the swept path analysis. In the traffic report, I think the one was they used a 25-meter design vehicle, but typically it's going to just be up to a 19 meter. I know those fuel vehicles are somewhere between 17 and 18 meters.
Correct. I haven't reviewed or undertake the 10 passes for the site. We haven't done fresh 10 passes for the site. We just reviewed the 10 passes that has been undertaken previously by the consultant. And we confirm that reviewing by the 10 passes shown in the traffic report and appendices is satisfactory and can be done.
Has a similar exercise been done for vehicles entering and exiting? There's a service bay designated on the site. I think they're probably up to 12.5 meters, I suppose, but I didn't really see anything on there. Has that been confirmed as well?
Look, the report suggests that 1725 fuel tanker would enter the site by the full movement crossover on Flores Road. So what the TIA undertaken by Alpuri consultant suggests that a smaller size vehicle of 1725 meter would be able to enter and exit the site. I haven't done the 10 passes for a general typical 90 meter fuel tanker, but looking at the 10 passes that has been done for a smaller size truck 1725, it looks that it's doable and satisfactory.
I don't think my question was about entering and exiting. It was relating to maneuvering on site into and out of the service bay. Clearly, if a 90 meter can get in, a 12.5 meter can get in. Just confirmation that, because I haven't seen any documentation relating to a 12.5 meter maneuvering on the site, getting into and out of the delivery bay. So I'd just like that addressed or confirmed.
Yeah, so with what we have the luxury with this site is we've actually got a lot of hard space and manoeuvrability room, and the distance between the canopy and the delivery bay enables that. There hasn't been a specific turn path done. However, 7-Eleven have their standards, which means that there's enough separation between those car bays and canopy to enable the movement of the truck to come in. So within the design catalogue that they require, certain separations are required to enable that. That can quite easily be demonstrated and wasn't done in the original report, but it can be.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions of the presenters? If not, I'll ask the council staff if they've got any comment to make on the presentation, and follow on if panel members have any questions of council staff. So council staff.
We have no comments, thank you.
Okay, panel members, anyone got questions of the council staff? Yes.
Thank you, Presiding Member. Karen Hyde speaking. It relates to my question to the applicant's representative regarding landscape. Condition 23 at the moment refers to the attached plan as being approved. It's somewhat of a concept plan. Would the city have any objection or difficulty with requiring a revised landscape plan that showed some more detail in terms of species and planting spaces and reticulation and those sorts of things?
No, we have no objection.
Okay, thank you very much. Just one other question, if I may. Is it envisaged, or how do you envisage that? This has obviously got some convenience associated with it, being 7-Eleven, and in an industrial area, it's possible that people will want to access this area on foot. How do you see it fitting with the current pedestrian network?
There are some footpaths in the area, and the site, there is a requirement for the site itself to be clearly marked with pedestrian access throughout the site. Okay, so it's your understanding that the external network would link into that yellow hatching that's shown on the plan as being a sort of pedestrian priority area. Is that correct? Not specifically, no, only within the site. There's no specific footpaths or anything on the highway or Webberton Road as they're important regional roads. Okay, so are you imagining therefore that it's more likely people would just take a short drive to this facility if they wanted to access the convenience from their place of work in the nearby area rather than walk? That's correct. Okay, all right, thank you for that answer. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Any further questions of the council staff? If not, thank you very much for answering those. Okay, well, now we move on to the actual item for discussion and a determination. In order to do so, I will need to have a seconder for the recommendation as published. Do I have a mover? Yes, Heidi Haggett. Do I have a seconder? Councillor, yes.
Happy to second, thank you.
Thank you, councillor. Heidi, you used to speak to the item then, please.
Look, I'm satisfied that it's an appropriate location and that the traffic with respect to traffic, parking, maneuvering and safety, that those issues have been adequately addressed in the context of the original assessment, but certainly the follow-up assessment, and obviously the rigor extended by both the city and Main Roads to the proposal at hand. And I'm also satisfied that in the long term, at such time that the intersection of Northwest Coastal Highway and Webberton is upgraded, that the levels of service will improve from what it is presently. I'm also convinced that the impacts of the traffic, based on the fact that the application, or so the proposal at hand, it generates an extremely high level of passenger rate, particularly during the peak hours. It's gonna have a minimal impact on that intersection and a minimal impact on safety and maneuvering based on the information provided by the applicant and the subsequent review by the city. So I'm happy to support the application.
Thank you. Councillor Conover, you have a seconder.
Yes, yeah, likewise. I think the best thing about this application is the site itself. It's a really well-positioned site on the corner of the highway and Webberton Road there. It is a really big site. It's about 3 or 4 times bigger than any other service station that I can think of in the city of Greater Geraldton. I love the fact that it can cater for the caravan people passing through. I do note Mains Road's concerns with the intersection. That really is something for them to determine in the future. There's good separation of traffic anyway on Webberton Road there, where the cars and pulling in and out into that road and onto the highway. There is absolutely no access whatsoever from the highway, and that even includes pedestrians. I know that's they're being very keen not to let that happen, so that is good. It is a very good application, and I support it.
Thank you very much, Councillor Conover. Yes.
Thank you,
All right.
Presiding Member. I would like to speak to the motion. I'm also comfortable to support the motion and concur with the previous mover and seconder with their comments. I think this is absolutely an appropriate use for the light industry zone. It's consistent with the structure plan. I don't think there's any noise or light sensitivity around. I think it will add a level of convenience for those working in the area, and agree that modifications to Northwest Highway and Webberton Road intersection are a matter for main roads rather than as a result of any pressure put on the network by this particular application, which I believe will be quite minimal compared to other traffic aspects. Presiding Member, I would like to suggest an amending motion, please, however, to condition 23. And I did take the liberty of having this typed up so that we can share the screen. It's an introductory paragraph to condition 23. Once you're sharing it, just check that Geraldton can see that.
Not yet.
And can you see it now?
No.
All right, I'll just wait before I go further. Are you seeing it now?
No.
You can read it out. If
I will read it then. So effectively, condition 23 would read as follows. Prior to development works commencing, a revised landscaping plan for the subject site is required to be submitted to and approved by the local government and shall include A, the location, number and species of proposed trees, understory plants and ground covers, along with vegetation size at maturity and planting density. B, details relating to the location of reticulation and watering regime. C, the maximisation of endemic species. It would also follow that there would be an amendment to the second paragraph to remove the word attached, because this condition would not be approving the attached plan, which is conceptual, rather that the second paragraph would say on approval, landscaping development plans to be landscaped effectively and maintained thereafter to the specifications and satisfaction of the local government. So that's the only change to that second paragraph.
Okay, is that clear to you, Councillor Conover?
It is, thank you.
That's good. Okay, well, that's moved as an amending motion
Yes, please.
by Karen. Do I have a seconder?
Will be the second.
Thank you, councillor. Karen, do you wish to add to it?
I think it's self-explanatory, presiding member, but just very briefly, this would be consistent with previous approvals and amendments to conditions that we've had for similar developments within the Geraldton area, and it simply enables the city to review the species to be appropriate with their list, and to understand that there's a bit more detail around particularly the pocket park for the caravan community, and the interface with the public realm.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Colliver, do you wish to add to that?
Oh, yeah, I actually really like this, particularly around keeping it alive once it is planted. So I think the points around the reticulation and the watering regime is really important. So thank you for that.
Okay. Heidi, do you wish to speak to it? No, I won't add to it. It's been clear that it's been covered comprehensively. Karen, do you wish to close debate?
No, happy to go to vote on the amending motion.
If not, I'll put the amending motion to condition 23. All in favour? It's carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, Karen, do you wish to continue speaking?
I'm comfortable to support with that amendment. Thank you, presiding member.
Okay, and well, I'll just speak briefly to the application. As it's been mentioned, it complies with the planning framework in terms of zoning, land use. There are a number of issues such as setback variations and signage variations, which the applicants requested. They have been assessed and recommended for approval. The referral to main roads received no objection. However, there was a requirement for a contribution or construction of a roundabout, which is not considered appropriate at this stage. And the environmental separation distances for odours was covered through the reports that were submitted in support of the application in terms of vapour capture, etc., and the vapour recovery system that's installed as part of the application or the development. So I too am supporting the application. I'll therefore go back to Ms. Hergott to close debate on the item.
Look, I think a combination of all of our remarks, in terms of appropriateness, land use, the design, the landscaping issues been resolved by way of condition. Obviously the movement network issues have been resolved. I think it's in an appropriate location. I think that it'll add value to the area. It's a good use of the land in what is, I guess, an industrial or sort of outlying area of Geraldton. So I fully support the application.
Thank you very much. That being the case, I'll now put the recommendation for approval as amended with condition 23. All those in favour? Thank you. That's carried unanimously. Okay, so moving on in the agenda to item 4 on part 3. Form 2 development applications, there are none, and item 5 SAT reconsiderations, there are none. Part C, other business, SAT application and Supreme Court appeals, they're all listed on the table. And item 2 on part C is closure of the meeting. I'll close it at 10:02 a.m. and thank everyone, presenters, council staff, Councillor Colliver and other panel members for your participation, and the Secretariat for their fine work backing us up.